started after a dare. My friend Milo found a video online claiming that certain liminal spaces, empty malls, deserted offices could sync with level 0 if you stood still long enough. He dragged me to an abandoned building, swearing we'd record something cool. We turned off the flashlights, staying silent as the air thickened. At first, nothing happened, but then Milo stepped backward and disappeared into a hallway that shouldn't have been there. I screamed and jumped after him. The new hallway was unmistakable. Yellow wallpaper, buzzing lights, moldy carpet. We had no time to panic. The doorway behind us collapsed into more yellow walls. Level 0 had swallowed us. Milo was trembling. "Let's just walk straight," he said. "It's a maze. If we move forward, we'll hit an exit." But every path looked the same. After an hour, Milo set a bottle cap on the floor to mark our location. 10 minutes later, we found the same bottle cap ahead of us, waiting. Milo swore we hadn't looped because the pattern on the wallpaper had subtly changed. The Backrooms didn't loop us. It moved the hallways themselves. Then we heard something scraping, slow, even, like someone dragging a plastic chair across the carpet. We followed the sound cautiously until it abruptly stopped. Milo whispered, "Maybe it's another person," but when I leaned around the corner, I saw a long corridor that didn't exist moments ago. And at the far end stood a figure facing the wall, a tall, thin outline with arms hanging unnaturally low. Milo whispered, "Hey, are you okay?" The figure twitched. A soft, moist crack echoed as its head rotated 180 degrees to face us. Its face was blank, not featureless, just covered completely by the same yellow wallpaper, stretched tightly over its skull. Then the corridor shifted, moving 1 foot closer like a sliding drawer. The figure didn't walk. The corridor brought it to us. We ran, but no matter where we turned, the moving corridor slid behind us, following like a hungry throat swallowing the map. The wallpapered creature stepped forward each time the corridor advanced. The buzzing lights flickered more violently with every shift. Finally, Milo grabbed my arm and pulled me into a supply closet. We barricaded the door with rusted shelves. The corridor slid to a stop outside. The creature's hand, yellow and papery, pressed against the door, feeling for us. Milo whimpered. I covered his mouth as the creature dragged its fingers downward, peeling strips of the door's paint. Then, footsteps. Human ones. A girl's voice called out, "Hello? Is someone in there?" Milo moved toward the door, desperate. I grabbed him. That's not real. But he didn't listen. He pushed the shelves aside. The door opened. And the girl's face melted into wallpaper as she reached for him. She wasn't a person. She was bait. I don't remember exactly when the humming began to feel alive. When I slipped into the Backrooms, I thought it was just a nightmare, an endless maze of stained yellow wallpaper, buzzing lights, and an empty smell like wet carpet. But after 3 hours of wandering level 0, I learned it's not the emptiness that breaks you. It's what hides inside it. I first saw the mist near a cluster of rooms warped together like they'd been stretched. I had been leaving markings with a pen, drawing arrows on the wallpaper so I could track where I'd been. But when I circled back, the arrows were gone, as if the walls had swallowed them. That should have been my first warning to turn around. But I kept going, and then I saw it, a pale yellow fog drifting through the hallway, glowing faintly under the fluorescent lights. It moved like something breathing. I stepped back immediately. There was no airflow in the Backrooms. Nothing should have been drifting. The fog slowly curled toward me, rolling like fingers across the carpet. And underneath the hum of the lights, something else moved. A vibration, a shuffle, A dragging sound. I whispered, "Hello," like an idiot. The mist reacted. It twitched sharply, like it heard me, then began creeping faster. I turned and ran. My footsteps echoed farther than they should have, bouncing unnaturally around the shifting hallways. Everything felt stretched longer than before, or maybe I was shrinking. Eventually, I ducked into a narrow room, pressed myself behind a column, and held my breath. The humming lights flickered. The yellow fog rolled into the entrance, pulsing thicker, like it was sniffing the air. Then I saw a shape inside it, a silhouette, human-shaped but wrong. The arms hung too long, touching the floor. The head tilted at an impossible angle. And it stood completely still as the mist swirled through its body. I realized the fog wasn't separate from it. The fog was it. The creature was made of it. The figure twitched, as if adjusting its attention. I looked down and noticed my stupid mistake. My shoe was sticking out past the column. The mist recoiled like it had detected heat, then surged toward me with a speed that didn't match the lazy drift from before. I bolted down the hall. The fog shrieked, not loudly, but like the sound was happening inside the walls around me, vibrating through the structure. I turned corner after corner, but level 0 never changed. Endless looping rooms, sticky carpet, yellow walls, and lights flickering like dying fireflies. Behind me, the fog pressed aggressively along the floor, clinging and stretching as if trying to trap my feet. The silhouette inside it grew more defined each time I looked back. Finally, I stumbled into a dark patch of hallway where half the lights had burnt out. The humming was weaker here. The fog hesitated at the border, swirling anxiously. That's when I realized the creature avoided dim areas. Level 0's light wasn't just decoration, it was a boundary. I crouched behind a broken-down table, forcing myself to stay silent while the fog paced at the edge of the darkness like a starving animal waiting for its prey to step into the light. The silhouette inside the mist began expanding, stretching unnaturally tall until its head scraped the ceiling. I entered the backrooms through a glitch on my office elevator. 1 second, the numbers were climbing normally, and the next, the screen flickered with static. The doors opened to level 0, soft buzzing lights, yellow wallpaper, endless rooms. I tried my phone. No signal. But strangely, the phone still made a faint crackling sound, like static from an old TV. Even stranger, the static formed patterns, pauses, spikes, almost like speech. After 20 minutes of wandering, the static developed rhythm, shapes, and finally, a muffled whisper, "Stop moving." I froze. My phone buzzed violently, then printed a text across the screen on its own. "He hears movement." Before I could react, I heard it, a dragging step, slow, heavy, somewhere beyond the wall. I crouched and held my breath. The footsteps were uneven, like the person was limping. Then something brushed the wallpaper from the other side, making it ripple. I backed away slowly. The static voice returned, "Don't run. He tracks vibration." I whispered, Who are you?" The phone crackled. "I'm another wanderer. Trapped. I can see you through signal noise. If you move too fast, he'll find you." My chest tightened. The footsteps grew louder. I spotted a low shelf and crawled behind it, pressing my phone to my ear even though no call was active. The voice whispered instructions. "Move only when the lights hum louder. It hides your steps." I waited. The lights buzzed sharply. I slid to the next doorway. The footsteps echoed again, closer. A tall figure appeared at the far end of the hallway. His body twitched like a corrupted video. His face was blurred, like static overlaid on his skin. Every few seconds, his limbs glitched, flickering left and right. The lights dimmed. The static on my phone screamed, "Don't move." The man tilted his head toward me. I held still. My muscles burned. The static man twitched 3 times in jagged motions, then vanished, reappearing 10 feet closer. He wasn't walking. He was jumping through glitches in reality. The lights flickered. The hum grew louder. My phone hissed urgently now, quietly.